black people,
Okay,
and they don't care
Kanye.
about people. They don't care about people of color, and the Republicans do, and that's the misconception.
And you know what? I agree with you 100%.
Thank you,
People
Nick.
don't know that the Democrats is the party of the KKK.
Yep.
People don't know that the Republicans are the party that freed the slaves.
Yep.
I mean, both of you and I have some conservative views. You just a little bit more outspoken about it than I am. And I don't subscribe to either party. I rock with W.E.B. Du Bois when he said there's no such thing as two parties. It's just one evil party with two different names. So
yeah, I mean, look, I listen. I'm not married to any party.
Right.
I voted for Donald Trump because we had two options, and he was definitely by far the better option for us. And as of now, I agree with a lot of things that he's doing.
Motherfucker cleaning house.
Yeah.
He
But
doing what he said he was going to do.
guess what? If there's a time where I don't agree, I'll say I don't agree.
Yeah. We got the Gulf of America now. Like the club, you charging a $5 million bottle service fee to get into the country.
I know. Listen.
Trump.
But guess what? White people should be able to say
So,
and I'm
really?
gonna tell you why.
Oh,
Because no one, when you really stop giving a about stupid, dumb ass words, will stop killing each other. And Nick, it's very different. You know, if it says the hard R and they're pointing at you, it's very different than rap lyrics.
Now, she's right. You do got a freedom of speech, but freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom of consequence. So you say it around the wrong person, you might get, you got brother, player. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta stop with the word semantics.
party.
That's right. Former Democrat, former liberal.
Yeah.
I was a liberal Democrat my whole life.
Is that because the bag has got so intense and so heavy that you got a whole nother, you up there with the elite now?
Not even close. Not even close. Democrats don't care about black people.
Okay,
And they don't care about people. They don't care about people of color. And the Republicans do, and that's the misconception.
And you know what? I agree with you 100%.
Thank you,
People
Nick.
don't know that the Democrats is the party of the KKK.
Yep.
People don't know that the Republicans are the party that freed the slaves.
Yep.
I'm sure you're probably tired of hearing that. But you know what? At the same time, Nick Cannon did his homework because he is very much correct. He's very much correct. I did my fact check. And indeed, yes, the Republican Party was the primary political force behind the abolition of slavery in the United States, founded in the 1850s, an anti-slavery platform. The party led the Union during the Civil War, passed the 13th Amendment, abolishing slavery, and championed the 14th and the 15th Amendments, which they're trying to get rid of now. Key actions. President Abraham Lincoln issued an Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863, which as a war measure freed slaves in Confederate-held territories. The 13th Amendment, the Republican-led Congress passed the 13th Amendment, ratified in 1865, which constitutionally ended slavery throughout the entire United States. Opposition. During this era, the Republican Party was the primary political opposition to the expansion of slavery favored by most Democrats, particularly in the South. The Republican Party has undergone a fundamental transition change since then, since founding in the 1850s, however, evolving from a party focused on preventing the expansion of slavery into a modern conservative coalition with a different ideological base and geographic support. While the party was born out of anti-slavery coalition in the 1850s, the 20th and the 21st century saw an ideological shift, with the party moving to the right, particularly since the 1960s, and increasing of strength in the South and rural areas. This means, Nick Cannon, that it's gotten much racist since then. It is very much different It's just the time that you know, given that you was somebody that played a role in an HBCU movie. Anyway, the Republican Party, the 1850s versus the 2026. 1850s to 1860s, founded in 1854 to combat the expansion of slavery. The early party was considered relatively liberal, advocating for free labor and national unity. The party grew strong in the North and championed the abolition of slavery during the Civil War. 2026, however, modern Republican ideology is rooted in American conservatism, emphasizing lower taxes, deregulation, gun rights, and a strong national defense. The party's focus has shifted to populist issues, often described as right-wing populism in the 21st century. The shift after the civil rights era of the 1960s, the party adopted a southern strategy to appeal to white voters, reversing original geographic base. Donald Trump and the modern GOP. Party transformation. Donald Trump's leadership has significantly reshaped the Republican Party, with the party shifting further to the right and focusing on issues such as strict immigration enforcement, like the SAVE Act, that will definitely interfere with our voter rights and as far as people being able to register, protectionist trade policies, and an America First agenda. Racial rhetoric and views. Donald Trump's rhetoric and policies have been a subject of intense debate. Critics and some researchers have described his rhetoric as exploiting racial tensions, citing comments about non-white countries and politicians. A 2018 study found that his supporters expressed higher levels of racial animus. Supporters often view his comments as a rejection of political correctness and argue that his policies are designed to unify the country by focusing on national interests, not race. The 2026 landscape. As of March 2026, Donald Trump is listed in the search results as the current president of the United States following his inauguration, January 2025. And leading a party focused on populist agenda. The party has evolved from coalition dedicated to abolition of slavery to one that by 2026 is defined by national conservatism and is closely associated with Donald Trump's political style. So he's thinking he's supporting somebody that has the same frame of mind of they believe in unity and all for one and one for all. It's good to be smart at something and know about that, but it's even better to educate yourself on how it is different from then to now. They are agreeing, some people in his camp and even that support him agree that slavery should be reversed and that slavery is the only thing that can control people like you and us, Nick Cannon, and you fail to even try to educate yourself on this and understand what you're saying when you even mention W.E.B. Du Bois and what he said. Now, that was a very cute statement, and I'm very glad you, a lot of people like to go over things, memorize them, and kind of keep it close to their head. So, I mean, with pertaining to W.E.B. Du Bois, he did write an essay of why he wouldn't vote. He argued that both parties were identical in their service to corporate interest, war, and failure to address racial injustice. And who's having an issue with those same injustices right now? And it is important for us to vote now, which means Nick Cannon probably does not vote. Also, the quote, he wrote this in 1956, explaining his decision not to vote for either Dwight Eisenhower or Adlai Stevenson, the Democrat. He also referred to them as one party with two faces, which are exactly alike. Du Bois believed that American democracy had largely disappeared and that voting for either party was pointless, arguing for a, at the time, non-existent viable third-party option. His refusal to vote, that was his goal, was a protest against the phony election and a call for massive rejection of the two-party system. Oh, God. So even though he doesn't want us to vote, he wants us to protest by not voting, which makes no sense because you then can't get people in the seats that we need them in to create change. So it's almost like anything that we would want to do right now pointless. I feel. Oh, this is very bad to say. So we're gonna go on. Gonna start. Who shall we start with? Amber or Nick? Let's start this by Amber.
I wish people would forget racism. Yes, as a biracial person, it drives me nuts.
Yeah.
I literally hate it so much, and I feel like the only people that give me a problem being or representing my white side, or saying that I'm black and white and not just black people. Black people are the only people that do that to me.
So it's ironic that they were able to recruit this young woman who, and she's a racially ambiguous. I don't want to say she's black because she has said she's not. So I don't want to say this woman who is of whatever race that she has claimed. She said she's not black, but they brought somebody whose whole career is based in black culture. She used to be on a show on BET. That's the reason most people know who she is. She dated one of the most.
Exactly, because I don't particularly know who you are. I just know who you are by the men that you put yourself in proximity to be known. Other than that, you have seen your values. Nobody cares. Who are you? So it's like you're arguing with a stop sign that's not going anywhere. It's still gonna be there saying stop. Nobody's paying attention, but you're making it a thing about you when it's not about you.
Prominent African-American rappers in the business, in the history of hip hop. So her whole culture came from black culture, even though she says she's not a black person herself.
If I tell a white person I'm mixed, they're like, okay, cool.
That's right.
They don't care. But black people are like, oh, so if your dad is white, then that means you're just white. Or if your mom is black, it doesn't count. Or if your mom is black, then you're just black. It's just always, I don't know.
What a mess, huh?
It's a mess, yes.
It's a mess. And then I'm looking
Why do you think only black people do that, though?
Because, number one, for the last 70 years, they've been told that their issues or their problems are coming from white people. Mm-hmm. They've been told that by the so-called civil rights leaders, Martin Luther King and Jesse Jackson and all those people. Yeah. And then
maybe if she educated herself a little more, then she would understand the dynamic of racism and she wouldn't have a question about it. Other than that, I don't care to question you about who you are. You could be as striped as a zebra and it wouldn't matter to me, except for when you get on a platform and address it like all black people have a problem with you. Ma'am, I don't know you.
They've been told that by the liberal whites that the white people holding you back.
Yes, I see that a lot.
And because they have not examined themselves to see that really starts in their home, they have only gotten worse over the years. Yeah. They think they're looking outside for the answers rather than looking inside and overcoming.
Because I'll be honest, it's definitely not more racist than it was in the 90s. And
good.
Feels like there's a whole like.
Go back.
Years. Yeah. They think they're looking outside for the answers rather than looking inside and overcoming.
Because I'll be honest, it's definitely not more racist than it was in the 90s. And the 90s didn't feel like this.
No.
It feels like there's a whole like race war now.
It's all hatred.
Yes,
That's
as a
because
biracial person.
thanks to the re-election of Trump, he's helped the people come out. And they're more expressive now, honey. Take a look around. I mean, if you're not paying attention, you might miss it. They're more expressive now. When you have a president that is very outward about his racism, then that makes people brave enough to be outward about theirs. Have you not seen the Karens and these white women stalking these people at apartments and going into their rooms, and there's somebody behind them asking them, do they stay here? Or if somebody's walking in a neighborhood that they live in, they can afford to stay in, somebody's asking them, why are they over here, and they stay there?
Martin Luther King and Jesse Jackson and all those people.
Yeah. Yes, I see that a lot.
And because they have not examined themselves to see that really starts in their home, they have only gotten worse over the years.
Yeah.
They think they're looking outside for the answers rather than looking inside and overcoming.
Because I'll be honest, it's definitely not more racist than it was in the 90s. And the 90s didn't feel like this.
No.
It feels like there's a whole like race war now.
It's all hatred.
Yeah,
It
it's really
is.
bad.
No, Amber, he was telling you it's all hatred. And it's like, yeah, it really is. No, baby, it's more hatred in society and amongst the communities. And it's very more racist than it ever was now. In case you haven't noticed, it went from being a little candle to now it's like an inferno of racism. Okay, so off that, let's move to Cannon and his insecurities.
Back. Okay, so
You're still there.
We're in the same. I'll say
Let's skip along.
I divorced my wife.
You initiated.
Yes.
Why?
So in that, because it goes back to what I was saying before, where I was talking about the man that I am,
Mm-hmm.
and then this is years of therapy. The man that I am, and the man that I was before
Mm-hmm.
I was married, I feel like I lost my identity and who I was once I became
A husband.
a husband.
And
The husband I became was Mr. Mariah Carey.
So are you telling me that you let the public's opinion
Probably.
influence how you function in your marriage?
It wasn't the public's opinion, but that was part of it, because it wasn't. I could care less about
Understood.
what people thought.
But because of who she is, you knew going in.
Because I didn't feel like a man.
Because of what?
So many things initially.
Give me two things.
Finance.
He basically went into a marriage not financially ready, not mentally ready, and not emotionally ready, only to wind up filing for divorce because of you. He said after intense therapy, which means you didn't even get there before or during your marriage, which means that you wasted a woman's time and had kids out of insecurity, not being mentally or emotionally stable or financially stable. And you lost yourself, which means you should have never got into something, but you got into it thinking that it was going to be something different. And it wasn't, because you wasn't whole. You got into it thinking that she was supposed to help you complete yourself when you should have been completed and knew who you was before you got into this waste of a time marriage.
Financially.
But you knew going in.
Yeah. But
So
did I go in with the right intentions?
Did you?
I had to ask myself those questions.
Did you?
I believe I went in for love,
Okay.
but in the sense of like what my life, because you got to think at the time, I'm a man in my 20s.
Mm-hmm.
I'm enamored. I'm in awe
Mm-hmm.
of
Yes.
the greatest presence of a woman that I have ever witnessed.
Yes, sir.
You know, and so I could have been clouded by just the idea of love. The hopeless romantic in me was like, I gotta get this right. I gotta figure this. This is a blessing from the Most High.
But you didn't get it right. You said you filed for divorce, correct? So you never did correct it because you wasn't emotionally or mentally or financially there. And everybody knows that when a man is having problems with his money, he is no good and not valuable.
Regardless of what the scenario was. So, again, in spending time and figuring out, like, man, was I blinded by the idea?
What's the age gap? How many years?
About a decade.
Okay. Is it possible that you didn't believe you deserved her?
Absolutely. 100%.
So there was a self-esteem
That's
piece.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm going back to.
Okay.
On many levels of, this is someone that is out of my league. This is someone that is more mature than I am. This is someone who has all the things she desires in life is completely different than my desires. So then, therefore, when I'm in this scenario, I'm like, ooh, am I losing myself? So in that, and I'll take it this one step further, because then we'll go to those spaces of, once I did come out of the marriage, my behavior then became to prove all of those things that I may have feared within my marriage, is that I can provide, I can do for others in an abundant way. So therefore, possibly being the reasons why I choose multiple partners and choose to take care of multiple people and create such a vast and large family.
What is the reason?
Because I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it.
So we get married just to prove to ourselves that we can do it. Meanwhile, you had to file for divorce just to get away from something that you was never prepared for. What a crock of Let's go to the next video.
To deliver, baby.
And this is just leading up to everything that he just said in that last video. And it just shows that he really wasn't preparing for anything or readying himself up for anything but the next woman.
Today we're going to talk about Nick Cannon. We're also going to talk about Amber Rose because her and Nick, they go deep, okay? Most of Nick Cannon's blinds are just that, they're blinds. Nick Cannon does not have any public lawsuits or anything like that to refer to, so keep that in mind. Like I always say, everything I'm about to say is alleged. I don't know this man. I don't know anybody I'm about to talk about. All of this information is gathered from the internet. They're blinds and rumors. I implore you to do your own research because frankly, I don't know shit. Okay, let's get started. All right, so the first few things we start hearing about Nick are about him being a cheater. We know that Nick cheated on Miss Christina Milian, who is a goddess. She's absolutely beautiful. And it's alleged that in 2006, when he was dating Kim K, he had allegedly told her that he was willing to marry her and have babies with her as long as she remained faithful and he could date other women. 2008, we start seeing blinds about Nick apparently being fed up with Mariah. Mariah was needy and we know she's a diva, but apparently he wasn't enjoying that. There is also a blind about how Nick had a hard time paying for Mariah's engagement ring and attempted to stiff the jeweler. And when he was called out for it, he allegedly went back to pay for it in installments. One thing we will hear about Nick in blinds over and over and over is that, yes, he has money, but he's real bad with money management. 2010, we start hearing blinds about Mariah having a drinking problem, a pill popping problem, and it's alleged that around this time, Nick encouraged the drinking because when she was drunk, she was easier to control. 2011, there is a blind that talks about Nick cheating on Mariah. This is not news, but the women that he's cheating with, escorts and strippers, required to sign a 5-page confidentiality agreement in both English and Spanish. Also required to have your photo taken and attached to that confidentiality agreement. 2014, it's alleged that Nick, who was supposed to be hosting a party for the iHeartRadio music festival, disappearing to the back into cabanas because allegedly he was meeting women there. asking them to undress, and if he liked what he saw, he would give them his number for later. This time, there are a lot of blinds about Nick allegedly being the one to put things about Mariah in the news, things about her weight, things about her mental health, things about her struggles. And if y'all remember, Mariah went through a period of time where they were not talking about her kindly in the news. It's alleged that he was having other people speak to the media for him because Mariah would not give him a divorce. Around this time, Nick's dad actually posted something to Facebook that was quickly deleted, and it can only be assumed it's about Nick and Mariah. It reads, "Here's a thing to talk about. If the wife loves sex and the man can't stand making love to her, what should that woman do? Here's a thing. If the husband says no lies and the wife lies all the time, what should that man do? Here's a thing. If the wife puts on 200 pounds and the husband likes a nice slim wife, what should that man do? Here's a thing. If the husband wants to have 10 children and the wife only wants to have 2 children, what should that man do?" All right, y'all already know I have to make a part 2. I'm so sorry. It is on my page right now. We are going to talk about Amber Rose in part 2 for sure, okay? Go watch it. It's on my page right now. We are talking about Nick Cannon's blinds history. If you haven't seen part 1, it's on my page. You can go watch it so you get some context. Everything I'm about to say is alleged. I don't know him. I don't know anyone I'm about to talk about in this video. This is information gathered from the internet. They are just rumors. Frankly, I don't know shit, and you should do your own research. Okay, let's talk. We leave off in 2014. Nick is allegedly speaking poorly about Mariah to the media. There is a blind that comes out around this time about Nick allegedly having phone, you know what, with Jasmine Sanders when she was 16. Jasmine is a model. She also dated Terrence J for a little bit. All right, so let's talk about Miss Amber Rose. As a disclaimer, I love Amber Rose. I really do. If you know me at all, you would know that I used to watch her show. I used to listen to her podcast religiously. I love Amber. So I say that to say, I'm hoping that none of this shit is true, but if it is, she's a horrible person and it is what it is. All right, so 2014, Nick and Amber start having a really, really close relationship. They come out and say, oh, Nick is now managing Amber moving forward. But rumors and blinds at the time say that they were hooking up. Since Amber did sign to his entertainment company, she did bring in some money, but it's alleged that Nick kept most of it. And that's something that we'll see repeated in a lot of blinds. Now, it's alleged that Amber and Nick were seen at Carnival in Trinidad and Tobago, and she was seen yelling at him, telling him that next time she wants more money to sleep with a client. We'll get back to Amber in a little bit. Kids' Choice Award 2016, it's alleged that Nick is trying to take home a then 17-year-old Kira Kasarin from the show Thunderman. Another blind comes out that he is allegedly being investigated for statutory you-know-what while being married to Mariah. This same year, it's alleged that he also got a contestant on America's Got Talent pregnant. This same year, it's alleged that Nick made $7 million. However, that just wasn't enough for him, and he was not only overspending, but also stealing money from his employees. It's alleged people were grouping together to come forward about this, and he actually had another falling out with Amber Rose around this time because of the same thing. So here's the alleged reported dynamic between Nick and Amber. I cannot confirm this for y'all. I don't know that this is true. However, it is a recurring theme in their blinds. And that is that Amber brings girls who will do whatever it takes to get into Hollywood. Whatever it takes makes Nick and Amber money. Amber takes a smaller cut. Nick takes the rest. In 2017, there's a blind that comes out about this exact same thing. Allegedly, they were trying to find video girls to lure them into this exact same work. And allegedly, one of the models had a FaceTime video proof of Amber threatening to end her if she exposed what was going on. 2017 is also a year where it's alleged that Nick was dealing with a lot of pill and alcohol issues. It's alleged he was afraid of optics if he went to rehab, and that he was being kept from some of his kids because of the use.
Okay, so I looked for her video, but I did not see a part 3, but I did find another video, however.
Cannon has one ex-wife and 5 baby mothers that he continues to circulate and have children with. We're all aware of this. Well, as we all know, it's Valentine's Day, and everybody's going to dedicate a post to their love, or the love in their life, or themselves. And it looks like this, harem is getting smaller and smaller. Some women have wisened up. Let's start with the ex-wife, Mariah Carey. We already know she got the fuck on a long time ago from Nick, but she's on someone's island, living her best life, looking good as fuck. So here's Mariah. Then we have Abby De La Rosa hosting some Valentine's thing, and of course Nick is right there. She is still part of the cult, so she's still a cult member. And then we have Alyssa Scott, and she's just posting a mirage of photos. It looks like he did not make it to see her for Valentine's Day. From what I gathered within her story, she would have posted it. So she's definitely on the back burner this year. She's not the favorite. Lanisha Nicole has posted her man and the daughter he shares with Nick. They're good over there. She's had that man for a minute. I love that for her.
We do. I leave you supporting thoughts and words.
In the American dream, I see an American nightmare. You show me a capitalist, and I'll show you a bloodsucker. Right?